What's going on, you guys? This is Alden1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you guys a Borderlands 3 video, and this is going to be a showcase of the differences of Mayhem Mode 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, once you finish the game, you can see the differences anyways when you when you look at the info, when you go to select which Mayhem Mode you want to select. You can only select a Mayhem Mode after you've completed the story mode or the campaign, and even on True Vault Hunter mode, you won't be able to select a Mayhem Mode until after you finish the story on True Vault Hunter. So I'm going to be showing you guys the differences gameplay wise, and I'll show you also the modifiers. I'm not going to show you all the modifiers that you can get, obviously you'd be able to see that yourself, but I'll just show you how it works, pretty much everything about it. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and show you the video. So this is going to be on Mayhem Mode Level 1. As you can see, Mayhem Mode Level 1 only gives you 2 modifiers, and it also increases the enemy's health, shield, and armor just by a small bit. It's not by too much, but you don't really gain that much XP. You don't gain that much XP difference. The amount of money and iridium you get isn't that big of an increase as well. But legendaries do drop way more often than the normal mode would normally ever drop you legendaries. First time I've ever done a Mayhem Mode Level 1, I killed the first few enemies I saw, and I ended up getting 2 legendaries from those enemies, which was really, really crazy. So if, once you get Mayhem Mode unlocked and you're not super geared out, I would just recommend farming on Mayhem Mode Level 1, just so you can get, somewhat geared without having much issues on fighting the enemies. Because the enemies are not going to be as bad, because the modifiers are also not going to be as bad. They're actually going to be pretty simple and pretty easy. So this is going to be Mayhem Mode Level 2. As you can see, Mayhem Mode Level 2 increases the health, shield, and armor slightly even more. Or not slightly, but by almost nearly double the amount. You do get more money, iridium, and an XP boost, as well as your loot chance goes up to 300% rather than 100, because 100% is from the Level 1 version. The enemies are going to be harder because there's going to be more modifiers as well. More modifiers that will make it to where you really need to figure out what weapons, what gear to use. And as you're going to notice in this particular fight here, I'm going to be going against anointed enemies, which, to be fair, anointed enemies are more so, I guess, the end game type of enemies. They are extremely, I wouldn't say extremely hard to fight, but it depends on the modifiers. If you get modifiers that benefits them more than it does yourself, then it's just gonna be kind of a pain to do, especially if you're playing as someone like that isn't Flak, because Flak, if you haven't noticed from a lot of YouTube videos, can one-shot a lot of the enemies. Moze is a really great character to use though, or pretty much any of the characters. But yeah, so on Mayhem Mode 2, you just really gotta start thinking about what to use and whatnot, because it does get a little too difficult, or more difficult, not as bad, but it's not impossible to solo. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and let the rest of this clip play through, and you can just watch some Moze gameplay. So the last one is going to be Mayhem Mode 3. As you can tell, Mayhem Mode 3 has 100% health, 150 shield, 150 armor, but you get 50% more XP, you get a lot more iridium and cash drops, and you get a lot of a higher chance for loot, better loot. So you get a 500% increase in loot drops or whatever. I guess the higher rarity loot drops is increased by 500%, which is insane. It's a lot. It's a much bigger chance for that versus than the Mayhem 1, right? But the issue, or not issue, but the problem you're going to end up running into is you might end up seeing modifiers that are going to really hurt you in the long run, because the modifiers really matter in Mayhem Mode 3. Depending on the modifiers, it can determine whether the fight's going to be a quick fight because it's benefiting your main weapons, or a long fight because it's benefiting the enemies more, but it's hurting you because you might not have the right weapons for it. You might not have an elemental only type of weapon, because there are modifiers where you deal 75% less weapon damage or gun damage, but you deal 75% more elemental damage. Like, there are modifiers like that, and if you only have guns that don't have any elemental damage or anything like that, then it's going to be pretty tragic. And depending on, you know, the boss fights, and depending on all the ads you're fighting and whatnot, especially if it is a boss fight, because they just end up resetting over, and then you'd have to go through fighting them again. But Mayhem Mode 3 is definitely going to be the best way of farming for legendaries if you do choose to farm for legendaries. Now, the alternative obviously is Mayhem Mode 1 or 2, if you, depending on how well you're geared. If you're not geared well enough, then obviously you don't really want to go into Mayhem Mode 3. You'd probably want to choose 1. And if you're decently geared and you have like a decent amount of weapons, then choose Mayhem Mode 2. You can always go between the two because they're a 200% difference. That's 2 times the loot drop difference, or loot rarity drop difference for different Mayhem modes. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this video and everything. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If it did, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well, so I will try my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Another thing that I'm gonna mention is, in this clip that you're watching right here of Mayhem Mode 3, I didn't get the legendary from the boss, and this is the first time I've ever killed him anyways, and also it's not guaranteed on getting the drops, but I did find a legendary in one of the weapon boxes, which I thought was pretty insane because I never find the legendary through those. So obviously I just got unlucky not getting it from the boss alone, but I got really lucky from getting it from the boss, or the box. But yeah, anyways, if this helps you out, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is All Day Anything One on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.